Everybody, and welcome back to video number 11 now, I believe, of RC aircraft design using Solidworks. So the last video, we lofted the outer wing panel, and we set up some drawing planes for this wing kink area, or the bend in the outer wing panel and the inner wing panel on the XP56. And we also started drawing a few guide curves, as well as I showed you how to convert a face into a drawing without having to do it by hand. So after the last video, I said that I was going to finish drawing a couple of these guide curves. I just did it just like I showed you on the first two planes. The only difference is they're on different drawing planes. So now that we have all that done, we are ready to loft the kink here in the wing. So we're going to come up in the features menu, and then we're going to use a lofted boss and a base. For a profile, we're going to use those two airfoils that we got using the faces of these two wing panels. And then for our guide curves, we are going to start here at the trailing edge. So we're going to select this one, and typically what we use is this little triple arrow thing. But you notice when you use this one, you only get one segment of this line, and this line is actually broken up into 3 different pieces. So if you want to use the triple arrows, you just have to individually select each segment of the line, or you can come to this little squiggly line and select open loop. Doing that, it selects one continuous entity. In this case, this whole line with the curve to it. So we're going to do that just because it's quicker and easier. We're going to click OK, and immediately you see our preview pops up. So again, like I've said before, you want to use as many guide curves on complex shapes as you possibly can get. It just helps refine the shape a little bit better, and it keeps SolidWorks from doing anything unwanted, like some weird bend or a kink or something somewhere. So we want that loop. We're going to select the bottom of that loop, and you'll notice on the trailing edge, I actually did a curve at the top section of the trailing edge and the bottom and not the middle. That's just to make sure that it doesn't throw some sort of weird bend in the middle of the thing or try and twist the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. So again, I'm going to select that curve. I'm going to come and we're going to select this one, the next one along the bottom, this one along the top, this one here. You notice as soon as I selected that one, it didn't like it. And I mentioned in the last video that this one was going to cause us issues because of this gap. So we'll come back to that here in a moment. And then we're going to select the one around the leading edge. And now that we have everything selected, there's no preview, but sometimes no preview is not a big deal. You might have forgot to say, hey, show the preview, or it might just be so complex to where the preview would take up a ton of resources from your computer, and it just doesn't show it, or it just doesn't do the math for a preview. So we'll hit the green check arrow, and sure enough, there's rebuild errors. This one, guide curve number 5 is invalid. Okay, so guide curve is pretty self-explanatory. Here we have guide curve. So number 5, we can select that one. So we'll remember that. And it's invalid because it does not intersect with section number 1. Well, section number 1, that's kind of confusing. What exactly is section number 1? I mean, over here in our loft menu, we don't have anything that says section. We got curvature displays, feature scope, thin features, options, sketch tools. I mean, there's nothing over here that says section. Well, section in SolidWorks terms is actually profile. Why they didn't just make the error say profile instead of section, I don't know. I guess this is one of those things where you have to think like a programmer and be smarter than the program. So in this case, profile 1 is the inner wing panel's tip airfoil sketch, and open loop number 5 or guide curve number 5 is this very front. It's actually the one. Let me find it again. It's the second one here. So it's the first one behind the leading edge on the top. So we got to go in there and we got to fix some stuff. So we're going to close out of that option, and we know it's this one here. So we're going to right click on that sketch, and we're going to do edit sketch. And it says, well, hey, look, it says it's coincident with that curve. So what's the problem? Well, let's see. Sometimes coincident still leaves a very, very, very tiny gap, and SolidWorks just doesn't like it. So we're going to select that point right here. And you can see, yeah, sure enough, it's coincident, but it's like, let's zoom back out of here and I'll get almost a direct head-on top view. Yeah, well, you see, coincident, but it's not really what you would say it's over the top, is it? So let's delete that relation. We'll just click on the little green box and hit delete. Now we're going to click this point, and we're going to click what we want it to be on, and we're going to say we want it to pierce, and boom, it moved it right where we want it. So, okay, awesome. That one did that one. So let's exit back out, and let's go back and let's do our loft all over again. We'll select our profiles. We'll select our guide curves. Computer decides to think about something else for a second for some reason. Well, it didn't like that selection at all, so now we're just going to have to sit here and wait for it to think. It's odd how some things just kind of change it so drastically. Oh, yep. We'll just give it a few seconds to see if it'll wait and finish. If not, we might just have to start all over again. And this is why I say you want to save it very, very often. There is the autosave feature, but that doesn't exactly save your bacon all the time. So as soon as you do something differently, you should probably save it. And honestly, by the time this gets done and it crashes and I reopen it, I think I haven't saved it since I undid all this information. So, all right, it's not going to do it. We'll just close SolidWorks. And now my puppy wants to sit in my lap. Okay. Okay, Gracie, get down. Go lay back down and go to sleep. Okay, thank you, SolidWorks. And we'll restart. Oh. The puppy loves attention. Ow, will you get down? Go lay down. Come on, SolidWorks. Any day now. All right, here we go. We'll open our back up. Maybe, maybe not. Come on. There we go, finally. All right, let's see. We'll go back through and we will readjust this one because, see, it did not save that information. So we'll go back and put that pierce relation into it. There we go. Exit that. Save it. And we'll come back to our loft. And we'll try it again. Select our profiles. One guide curve. Ouch. Nope, it didn't select that one all the way. There we go. Well, let's select it that way. That's better. Same with that one. This one. That one. That one. We know this one it doesn't really like, but we'll try it anyway. And there we go. All right, so let's try it again. Well, now it says guide curve number 4 is invalid with section number 2. So which one's guide curve 4? That's the same one we just did. Well, you know what? We know we've tried it 2 different ways. It doesn't work. So we'll get rid of that one. And let's try it this way. Now guide curve number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's that one we said earlier that was probably going to give us issues because of the gap. So we're just going to delete that one. And hey, well, you get rid of those 2, and it looks pretty dang decent. If I put it back on the middle of the screen. So one thing you can do to see if this is enough guide curves is you can come down to this curvature display, just click on it, and it expands, and then you can try this mesh preview. Mesh preview kind of gives you a cross section and a mesh, a crisscross pattern, so you can see what it is. Here you see we got mesh density of 3, so 3 sections. You can increase it to however many sections you want, and really you can kind of look at the shape of the boxes to determine how consistent it is. So if all the boxes are pretty consistent, most likely your curvature is pretty consistent and you can be done with it. They also have what they call zebra stripes, which we've seen on the fuselage videos. And again, these are all pretty dang consistent from each view. And they also have what they call curvature combs, which is kind of a combination of the mesh, but then it gives you these little tick marks that pop off. So you can see the tick marks, the blue and the black, all the different colors give you some sort of representation as far as directions for your colors, and then the length of the little comb sticking off represents something. What exactly, I don't know. I normally just use either the zebra stripes or the mesh preview, and that works perfectly fine for 90% of the stuff I do. So based on those two, I would say this curved loft looks pretty good. So we'll check the green button. Since we didn't use that one sketch because it kept giving us all these issues, we'll just delete it. And then again, save your work. Then we can zoom back out. There's a rear view. You can see we got a nice little 6 degrees of dihedral and then an 18 degrees of anhedral from the main wing. And we got a nice uniform curve pretty much around that whole wing kink. And if we come up to our evaluate menu and we select zebra stripes, you can see the stripes. I mean, they're pretty dang good. They come out and they curve down a little bit. It's pretty consistent. The front view looks good. Coming to the back, that looks pretty good too. Look at the bottom. Wow, that looks really good. I mean, there's a nice, pretty consistent straight. So a little bit of a bobble there, but that's expected with the bend. And the top view looks really, really good. Another thing, we can look at the curvature, and yeah, sure enough, it's nice and flat, and then a bend, just like we said it would be. And again, flat and flat with a nice tight curve on the bottom. So based off of this, I would say this half of the wing is more or less complete for the majority of it. So what's left now is to figure out the wingtip. I've got an amazing drawing of the wingtip, so we can do a accurate top view of it with exact curves with how the wingtip is shaped, which is honestly very unique for this airplane based on how the flight controls for the rudder were done. But I am missing a little bit of documentation for the wingtip, as well as the oil cooler and cooling scoops for the wing root. So that information should be here tomorrow. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the video at this point, and I'm going to do a little bit of secretary work, putting some X and Y coordinates in for that wingtip sketch. And once all that's done and I get some more documentation, we'll start up video number 12, and I'll show you guys how about going about doing boundary bosses and all this other stuff for wingtips. So until then, you all have a great evening or day, and we'll talk to you the next time.